All right, guys, what's up? Back on my grind. Today I'm talking about language learning. Um, this question comes from Dazzled Guy 189. He says, I want to learn Hindi because I'm from India, but growing up in the USA, I've never got to fully learn it. So, how should I address that? So, if I wanted to sit here and make a video about how I learned Japanese and how I'm learning Japanese and the whole process I went through, it'd probably take like an hour. So, instead, what I want to do, and I don't want to just blabber for an hour because honestly, it's not going to be a super high quality or helpful video anyways, because I haven't sat and specifically thought about what I wanted to talk about. So what I want to do for you is give you the tools to go find the information that you need to learn this effectively if it's something you decide you want to do. So I'm going to give a little thoughts on, my ideas with language learning short in the beginning, and then how to learn more about it. Okay. So the first question is, why do you want to learn this language? And this comes back to any skill you want to learn, anything you're doing in life, why you're doing it is very important. And I think a lot of people don't actually give much reasoning or thought into why they're actually attempting to do something or why they want to do something. But I think it's very important to think about why you want to do things, because things that come from our own internal drive, our own internal pursuits, those are things that we can make a lot of gains in. Those are things we can become very excellent in. But things that come from outside forces, things like us being forced into doing something or us doing something for like a vain reason, whether it's just making money, making money is a skill in of itself. So if that's your skill, that's fine. But if you're just trying to make money, becoming a coder or something, we have no interest in coding. In my opinion, that's not a very good idea. Or maybe you just want to look cool or whatever it is. If it comes from some vain place inside of you that you want to do this versus an actual internal drive, you're going to have to see a very big difference in your results. So if you actually have an internal drive, those dull moments, those difficult moments within your skill are going to be much easier. So the first thing I want you to think about is truly, why do you want to learn this language? How is it going to help you if you actually learn it? And just where does it fit into your life as far as if you actually want to take this to further step. Now, you don't have to think about that all at once. Like, it's okay to just try it out and see if you like it and then take it further if you want to. But I think at some point you do need to sit and think a little bit like, is this actually something that's worth doing for me or not? Because that's really going to that's really going to make or break whether or not you get to like a reasonable level in the language or not. Okay, next thing when it comes to language learning, I truly believe language learning is all about input, okay? Just like learning any other skill. Taking in input into your brain, getting stimulus into your brain, and eventually that stimulus will be outputted, okay? When you actually do your skill, or when you actually go to talk, or you go to write, or talk to somebody in Hindi, okay? So it's all about inputting. Too many people are in the mindset that they need to be constantly outputting, but you really need both. You need that constant flow of input and the output behind it, okay? If you only ever input and you never ever talk, you're not going to get very good at speaking. Like, it seems pretty obvious, right? Now, do you have to speak right from the beginning? No, I wouldn't even recommend that. Like, getting a ton of input before you start talking is fine, but eventually you're going to have to practice outputting and talking. But the main thing is getting tons and tons of input with a language you're learning or a skill you're learning. So by input, I just mean interacting with the language, okay? Watching YouTube videos in the language, reading books in the language, listening to music in the language, okay? Talking to native speakers in the language. So anything where you're actually getting the language into your brain. Obviously, at the beginning, when you're a lower level, you may have to use lower level materials, lower level inputs. But yeah, again, I don't want to get too far into the language learning stuff because there's other people that explain it much better than me. But I truly believe input is the most important when it comes to learning skills and when it comes to language learning. So if you're not inputting in Hindi already and you want to learn, you need to start today. Start inputting in the language, and you should continue inputting in the language until you either quit the skill or you reach a level where you're like, I don't really want to. And even then you may need to input some to maintain that level. Okay, next thing, a lot of people learn language backwards. So what I recommend is notice and then research. Okay, so I+1 material. So basically I+1 material is material that's right outside of what you currently know. So when you're immersing material, you want to be in that I+1 zone where you understand most of it, but there's like a little bit just outside of that you don't understand, just a little bit. And those little things, those little pieces of information you don't understand are easy to grab up. And then what I mean by notice first and then research, too many people try to learn a language by just studying a bunch of grammar or studying a bunch of whatever vocabulary or whatever in their language. And then they go and listen to the language and try to use what they learned, right? But I'd argue it's much more effective to listen to the language. And when you notice something over and over again, and you keep noticing the same word or the same grammar pattern over and over again, that's when it makes sense to go and look up that word or that grammar pattern. Okay, because your brain is already primed, your brain already has some level of context for that information that you found when you were inputting and listening to the language or reading the language. And then when you go research it, usually in one shot or in one go, you'll kind of learn what it means. Now, obviously, sometimes you have to listen, look it up over and over, but that's fine. That's fine. The main thing is get some context for what you're learning and then go learn it versus trying to learn everything and then afterwards go use it. Okay, so get context by inputting and then learn it. At the very beginning, in order to get basic grammar patterns down, you may have to do like a little bit of just textbook material, okay, just to get the basic idea. But as soon as you've got the basics down, you need to go and start inputting. And then as you're inputting and those things come up that you hear over and over again or that you see over and over again, then you go and research those things because they're going to be very easy to pick up at that point and add into your actual vocabulary or add into your understanding of the language. This is same with any skill. Like too many people are sitting here studying, a book or anything like that. And they're like, I need to do it exactly in this book. Well, that situation that's in the book might never actually come up in what you're actually doing. So what I would recommend is go actually do your skill. And then when the same thing pops up over and over and over again, or the same situation pops up over and over again, go get contextual information about that specific situation. Same for language learning, same for learning normal skills. Okay, next thing you need to do if you actually truly want to learn a language and you're committed and you know your why, next thing you need to do is you need to learn more about language learning, learn more about learning. So I'll recommend two YouTubers to you, Steve Kaufman and Matt versus Japan. Both of them are heavily into the input-based method, and I can attest for myself, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm really good at Japanese, because I'm not, but I do understand a lot of Japanese, and I think I've gotten to a reasonable level, probably better than most people that ever start learning Japanese. So, and my method was basically all input. Yeah, I did a little bit of traditional studying at the beginning, right, to get my foundation in the language, but then after that, I just inputted for many hours up until now, and I'm still continuing to input in Japanese and try to improve my Japanese. So I'm not perfect by any means, but I recommend those two YouTubers, Steve Kaufman and Matt versus Japan. Go and watch their videos on how to use the input method and how to learn a language, and I think you'll learn a lot more from them than you'll learn from me. But yeah, today I tried to make it so that this is not just about language learning, but just about skills in general, how to learn skills, how to have the tools to learn skills. And yeah, one thing I want to do with this channel is because many people are interested in learning languages and skills or many different things. And I really believe the learning process is basically the same for all of those things. I know people try to divide up like language learning from being different from like learning to play a sport or something. But I really think in our brain, there's no difference between learning those two things. So yeah, I think that's fascinating. That's my hypothesis kind of behind this channel. So I'm trying to kind of push that forward a little bit through my videos. But yeah, I hope this helped you get an idea of the path that you might need to go down. And just remember, learning a language takes a long time. It takes a lot of patience, but as long as you do the right things every day, eventually you will get to the level that you want. But you need to understand that there is, a cost to actually learning a language. It's gonna take a long time you could be spent doing something that might be better. So it's important to think about why you actually want to do it before you start. Anyways, I hope that helped you out, and yeah, good luck with your learning, guys. If there's any questions you want to ask, please leave a comment. If you like the video, please subscribe, check out some of my other long form content. Have a great day. Thank you.